the previous sessions, we have seen how to create table, insert records, and also define different restrictions or constraints on the data that has to be placed inside the table. So far we have worked on creation of tables and record insertions. Now comes the part where we need to retrieve those records. Okay. In this session, towards working of this, I am showing how to use Oracle Live SQL scripts to run your commands. I've already created two scripts. One is the list or script of all the different tables, which includes few master tables and few child tables. So I'm just going to run the script, and before we do that, I'm just showing you the list of the tables that I'm creating. This is a master table named customers, followed by an item master table. Then I have a customer orders table and item order table, item stock table and payments table. Okay. The whole setup is that I create a basic set of tables for inventory management, and I have created them with appropriate primary key constraints, check constraints, etc. Okay. So I'm just going to run the script. I have saved this as a script and named it. So let us run this and see how it works. So I'm running the script. Let's see what happens. So it shows success. 6 statements ran successfully and it created 12 objects. It is telling 12 objects because each of these constraints that you have created are also here treated as an object. So if you see, each of these statements have an output. So each of these tables have created successfully. I'm just checking that. So once this is done, I'm closing it. I also have another script. This is to populate the records for this particular table. So now let us take this insert record scripts and then run it. Okay. So now I'm going to run the script, but this time it asks a question like this. You just created different database objects in your session, isn't it? So it will ask if you want to drop all those objects or remove the session history. In our case, we are creating records for those database objects we created it. So I will not check any of these options. However, for your requirements, if that is the case, if you check this option, all the tables that you have created previously will get dropped successfully. Okay. So now I'm going to perform the action. Let us see what happens now. So it runs the script. It says 34 statements ran successfully. No objects were created. That's why it's 0 objects. All I have done in these scripts are just insert statements. So in all total, for all the 6 tables, I have given 34 inserts. So this is what it has done. I'm just going through and seeing if there was any error. There is none. Now I'm going to my SQL worksheet and then we will start seeing all these records. I'm not going to show it now, but as we query the table, you will see what those records are with you. So far as I said, we have created a table, we had put on constraints and we have inserted enough records in all these 6 tables with a small master and child relationship to be handled. Now the next phase is to start retrieving the data from the tables. Okay. The simplest form of data retrieval is select star from the table name. Okay. So here let me run the statement. Okay. You have 7 rows that are getting displayed. There are totally 7 rows. So when I say select star from customers, then it simply lists all the tables and all the columns and all the rows of this particular table. Okay. Now there may be applications or cases where you want only data of specific columns, right? So in this case, for example, I only want the customer ID and the customer name from the table. So instead of star, I will just write customer ID, comma, customer name. That was a name in the field of the table that I have given. So I just list the name of the columns on those values you wanted to get listed. So these were the two columns I was very particular about. So I just listed all the records in this particular column. Now sometimes what happens is you might have given very short names, like for example cust underscore name. Okay, it explains to me that it is customer name, but sometimes you want to see the name displayed for the column as customer name. However, the table has this as cust underscore name. So what you can do is you can create an alias for this particular column name so that the display at least looks as customer name. Okay. So first of all, let me run only the customer name from customers. So you will see the name title here as cust name and it lists all the customers. Now I want to create the title, I want to give an alias to this custom name because I don't want it to see this as a title. So I am going to say customer name. Okay. So now let us see what happens. See, this was, it gets displayed. So it says customer name from customers. But so far what we have done, actually I can even remove this code and it will still work. Okay. I don't need to put a code as long as there are no special characters. However, customer without space name doesn't look so nice. So I want to insert a space in the alias. If I try to run this now, it will throw an error because it cannot read the space here. So in order to force the space, I'll put a quote between this. So any special characters or space that you need on that has to come within the quotes. Now when you do that, the display names comes as customer name. So if you create an alias, sometimes it might be very useful when you read the entries in the particular column. Okay. So now in this session, I've shown you how to run the script, how to list all the column values and also specific column values, and sometimes we may not like on the display the table the column name that you have on the table. We would like to give a very understanding name for us, at least at the point of display. So we create what we call as an alias for each column. You can create multiple aliases. Say for example, this is customer name. I can do the same for customer ID as well. Cust underscore ID as customer ID, comma, like this I can create aliases for all the columns that you list. It can be multiple columns. You can still create that many aliases for each of the column it gets listed. Okay. So this will be very easy for you to read the data. It looks much more user friendly when you do an alias, but that is not mandatory. It is up to you. Okay. So we will stop with this session. In the next session, we will start seeing how to select specific rows. So far, all the rows in the tables are getting listed, but in some cases, we may not like that to happen. So in the next video, we will start seeing how to restrict or display only specific rows from a particular table. Okay. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.